Okay, today's topic is redirects, which doesn't sound very exciting, and actually isn't a complete description of what we're going to do. It's actually more like using scripts to customize the both the path that someone takes, as well as, so it's called, technically it's called flow control, and also some of what they see and do. So I'm going to give you three different examples, in the spirit of learning from all of the webinars that we've been doing over the past couple of months. Hopefully I'm getting a little better at these, if less organized, because I'm getting further behind. But um, this one is really the, different from the PHP classes that we did, and even different still from the one that I'm going to announce at the end of the webinar today. In that, while the PHP class was really about teaching you how to write PHP, beginning PHP, these sessions, these extending Infusionsoft sessions, are really about helping you to understand what is possible with the API and what I call 80/20 API, or 80/20 programming, which is this idea that 20% of the effort gets you 80% of the result. So that you can actually do some really pretty powerful things, frankly, with just that 20% that a beginner can generally grasp. Or even if you don't, or don't want to, that don't cost a lot of money to get someone to do. And if you know that you can do them, particularly when you sort of start stringing some of these concepts together, you can create some pretty interesting flows and some pretty interesting results. So this is one of those use cases that I want to show you today. And so the way that I'm going to do this, it actually kind of started. We have a group of women ICCs on Facebook called ICC Chicas, and one of the chicas was asking about, how do you route someone to an order form based on whether they want the subscription version or the one-time product version. And I already had this on the books, but I kind of redid it based on her concept. So let's take a look at that idea first, and then we're going to expand on that a couple of different ways to get this kind of bigger and bigger idea. Uh, this is like all my work here. Okay, so get here, get out of there, and start here. Um, Probably need a couple of these windows open, just so oops, just so I have them. Okay, and I'll make this a little bigger so everyone can see that, and expand my screen. All right, so here's where we're going to start. So the first example that I want to show you, is just that. Okay, this idea of how do I route someone to an order, to different order forms. Now I've just done two, but clearly you could do this either direction and with far more than two. So if you go look in Campaign Builder, I created this. Actually, there's almost nothing in this because I didn't build it out quite, but we'll add to it. So all I've gotten here actually is at this point is a form. Um, and on this form is, you'll see just first name, email, and then order type. And we've got subscription and one-time order. Now the URL for that form is this. So this is just the hosted version of that form. And before I fill this form in, I want to show you a couple things about what I did here. So, obviously we'd style that and do all kinds of stuff with it. But couple things. So, one, on the settings, I set up auto populate this form, but in our case, we're not going, we're not coming from an email, but of course you could. There's our hosted version, and then the other thing is I wanted to show you this. So right now I have the thank you page pointing at a script that sits on my server. APIdemo.com is the website I'm using for this, in a folder called scripts. This is the same one that you might have for your, your website, and where all of your Infusionsoft SDK and stuff is set up. And this is just a little PHP script, which you'll see sitting there. And the thing, for those of you, I'm looking through the list of people who are here. Many of you have been in a bunch of these, and so you already know this, but some of you haven't. So for your benefit, one of the things that kind of throws people when we first start working with this stuff is this idea of like, like, how do I launch these scripts, and where are they, and how do I see them? Well, a PHP, if you look at, let me just, if I just look at a PHP file, and let me just show you a super basic one and get back to where I was. If I go to apidemo.com and I just look at, let's just take, uh, we'll just make a new file. So we'll make a new PHP file called hello.php. And then all I have to do, so if I open this and do nothing more than um, strong, oops, hello. I have been up for a really long time, you guys, and so my typing is going to really stink today. And I say save, and then if I go over here to my browser and I said API, where did I just put that? API demo scripts, API demo scripts, and then hello.php. And that's not where I put it. Where did I put it? Oh, not in scripts. It's just sitting in that. All right. Okay, says hello. All right, so at its core, a PHP script is actually, displays HTML. It's a page. It's just like any other page on your website. Now, it happens to have code in there that can do things. That's really the main difference. So any place that you can put a URL, this is the key point. Any place you can put a URL is a place that you can call a script. So in Infusionsoft, well, where is that? Well, the two big ones are in HTTP post snippets within campaign builders, and the other big place is in a thank you page, right? So if I put this here, it's going to go to this page, this PHP page called redirect one, and execute whatever is on that page. Now, before I do that, though, I do want to show you something. Um, for those of you who are kind of into programming, no, actually, I'm not going to show you that. I have a tendency to get too far in the code, and I really want to show you the concept. And then if you guys want to ask about like how I, knew those things or whatever, then I'll do that. But I don't want to lose the people who want the high level, which is what I tend to do. So let's just keep this. You know what? Let's just go fill this form out and see what happens. So I have this form. I'm going to send it to this page, right? Called redirect, whatever. What did I just say? Redirect one. Okay. So let's do that and let's see what happens. Here's our form, and I'm going to say, I always use my dogs. So we'll use major. No, no, I'm not. We'll use Drita, and her email is drita@kimsnyder.com. And we'll say that the order type, this is going to be a, oops, nope, I'm not here. Sorry about that. I got to close this. Nope. This is going to be a one-time order, and I'm going to hit submit. Now, when I hit submit, okay, well, this interesting. I'm on an order form, and this doesn't look at all like redirect1.php, which is what I put in the thank you URL. So how the heck did I get to this order form, right? Well, if we go, this is sort of the key point. If we go and actually just have a quick glance at redirect one, This is what it found when it went to redirect one. This is the code. And actually, what it did was it this is the query string that Infusionsoft passed over, and I know it's very hard to read because it's in gray, so I'll make that maybe a little. It's really not much easier to read. Um, it This is the query string that Infusionsoft passed over when it came to redirect one because I told it to, right? I said, pass the contact data over with the form. Okay. Now, but the interesting thing here is, if you get in here and you read what it sent, and I know this is what it sent because I copied it, by the way, you'll notice that one of these things down here says, Infusionsoft option order type 389. Well, you don't have to worry about the details of that right now, but that actually means that if I go back, that I clicked the button 389 that was for subscription. Okay, this was option 389. And so when it came over and I read 389, I said, oh, this little thing right here says, oh, okay, if they click the option that says 389, do this, redirect to this page called test order form. But if they had said 391, which I knew was going to be the one-time order, instead send them to this other order form. Okay? And if it had been something completely different, just send them to our website or something. Right? You always have a default there. So this little, piece of code, which you don't really even have to care what it does or what it says. Point being, this little easy piece of code with an Infusionsoft order form allows you could do infinite combinations of, if they have this and not that, go here. If they have, quantity X, go there. If it's this price, go, whatever. So there's this idea of, taking input that's coming in from somewhere like a form, and then using it on the front end to direct to either another form potentially, so that you can create like a multi-step process, or in this case that form being an order form and it being the one that you want. Okay, so so what we've done there is we've redirected to an order form based on the input from a web form. Now let's keep going with this example here since we're on this um, order form, and let's put in an order. Okay, so this is a Sandbox account that I have. So what I'm going to, and this is actually some stuff I was messing with for someone else, but since it's required, I'll go ahead and put it in there. And I'm going to put in the required fields for Drita and dog and her, oops, well, I guess it doesn't really matter, her address. Oops. That's sure not right. Here we go. And then let's see, a phone number, and we'll give her her own email address, kimsnyder.com. Okay, perfect. So what we've got here is we've got an order for whatever this is. Our product is called Second Test Product for $9.35. I've got a promo in there that takes that back off. We're going to put in a test credit card number here, which is this, and set that to some year in the future. And oops, heck, and put our initials, Drita dog, and say place order. Now, what I didn't show you, thank you for your order. Now, I want to show you something before I show you that. What I did not show you there is how I had this order form set up, which is actually very similar. Okay, so on the order form, that was, I believe, this test order form, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, that was the other one. Doesn't really matter, actually. They both went to the same place. Okay, so you see I've got a order form. Product I've got on here is second test product, $9.35, etc. Blah blah blah. Right? But again, same thing. If you go to the thank you page, what I have now is yet another script, right? APIdemo.com, make this bigger so you guys can see. Redirect to .php. And again, the box is checked to say pass contacts info to the thank you page. So what happened here is an order got placed, right? And when it did, Infusionsoft is going to send us to this URL, and in the query string, it's going to pass the contact information again. And just so you guys can be clear about this query string and what that means, or what that might look like. I know most of you kind of know what it means, but I just put this someplace where you can actually see it and read it. This is probably better. Okay. So when Infusionsoft sends this stuff over, this is what it looks like. So generally, right, they give you different stuff depending on what form it's coming from. So in this case, they say here's your contact ID, and then this you can just ignore because we can't do anything with that. But then they have, okay, well, here's your first name. Okay, here's your email address, and no idea what that is. And then here's your in that other case, here's your order type. So you can actually just grab this and look in here and find the values, um, and then know what it is that that it's passing over. And so that tells you two things. If it has the things you want, it tells you the name that you have to use to grab it in the script, which I'll show you. But it also tells you that if they aren't giving you everything that you need, you may have to go get that out of Infusionsoft. You may have to take what you do have, such as contact ID, and then query Infusionsoft to get what you need. Okay, so which is actually kind of what happened on this one that we just went to. So this is where it just sent us, is this redirect to. Now, so on redirect to, this is actually a thank you page. And I know it really doesn't look like much because I didn't do anything with it, but it is actually a custom thank you page. Now, and what makes it custom is, well, so I could have done this a couple of ways. Okay, if I look at this script, I could have done it the way that I did the first one, right? The simplistic way. This switch statement is basically just a fancy if. It just says switch means if type is 389, do this. If it's 391, do this. Otherwise, do this. Okay, so I could have parsed the information that it just sent over and said, okay, if they bought product 2, then I'm going to send them to this thank you page. Instead of an order form, I'm going to send them to a thank you page. And if they bought 4, I'm going to send them to this other one. And on each one of those, we could have, different upsells and different, this, that, and the other based on, so that, because they were going to a page that we built specifically for that product, then we could customize it. But there's another way to do this, which is a little bit more elegant, and particularly when you have a number of products. And that is, a lot of times our pages, particularly something like a thank you page, is going to be a lot of boilerplate. It's going to be the same on every page, and there's only going to be a couple of places that you want to customize. So rather than doing what we did the first time, which is make 8 different pages and then send them to the page that corresponds with the product that they bought, in this scenario, what I did is I said, well, okay, well, let's not do that. Let's just send everybody to the same page, which is redirect to. And I really should have called it like thank you to. Let's send everybody to redirect to, and then customize what they see on the page based on what they bought. Okay. So again, without looking at this, all this gray stuff is me just like commenting stuff out and putting it in there as notes so I can kind of see, what I've got. So in this case, this is the query string that Infusionsoft passed over when I created an order. Where's my blank page? Here. Okay. Now this is different, similar but different. So this is what happens. This is what Infusionsoft gives you to work with when you use an order form. And the interesting thing about this is an order, and yet they give you all the contact information. Here's city, here's state, here's email, here's street address one, country, phone, first name, postal code, company, and then at the end order ID. Huh. So even though this came from an order and an order form, they gave me nothing about the order other than the order ID. Which is a little bit inconvenient, but at least they gave me the order ID, right? They passed the order ID. So having the order ID, that's actually really would have been nice to have, products and things appear, but since they don't, I've got the order ID. So now what I can do is I can go query Infusionsoft using this order ID. I say, okay, order ID 49. So Infusionsoft, can you return me everything that's on or in order ID 49? And I don't need everything. Just send me these few fields, which I would like to have. The main one being, what were the products, give me the product IDs, what was the product description, what was the quantity. Did they buy two? Did they buy six? Did they buy one? That's probably good enough. I could get some other stuff out of there if I wanted, but for me right now to do what I want to do, which is this custom order page, that's enough. Okay. I could have pulled the custom fields if there were custom fields on the order, whatever I wanted that was in Infusionsoft. As long as they gave me this order ID, I can now go query it, which is what I did. So on redirect, I said, okay, so I'm going to pull out of that big mess the order ID and the first name. Okay. And then, and I'm actually going to just change these just for purposes of demonstration for you guys to orders that I had created previously. Okay. But just that's the only thing that's changed. So I said, all right, got so now I know that this is order, in this case 51 and Drita. So here's my little thing to say, here's my query. Infusionsoft, please return these things, order ID, product ID, quantity, item description. Bring it back to me, and then based on, and then we're going to parse all those, find the product IDs, and then we're going to send you to the thank you page. So see, again, here's one of those redirects. Look, okay, redirect. So now I've gotten all the information. I've used this script to grab all this information and then send you to the thank you page. So if you look here, you didn't know it, right? You're on the thank you page. Even you see that? So what the process was here, hard to see, I know. So what the process was, but it just happened in a blink of an eye. It happened so fast that you actually didn't even know you landed on that interim page. It went, the thank you page said go to redirect one. Redirect one said, quick, Infusionsoft, give me the information about this order, and then I'm going to put it in a query string and send it to the thank you page. And then the thank you page, that's what this is, because I got this from Infusionsoft. The fact that in this case we bought product number 4, and I put it in my own query string and sent it over to thankyou.php, right? So kind of cool that we can do, that we can do that so quickly that the user doesn't even realize that they've gone boop 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 across a couple of different pages, right? So if I just redid this, if I just typed in this page redirect to like this, now because it has this order 51 on it instead of the one I just placed. Okay, and then I can kind of show you a little bit more about sort of what we did. Redirect to, boop, oh, yeah, invalid on line 9. I just messed them up. Hang on. Really? What did I do? All I did was change this to this. Invalid argument supplied for each. Product order D. Hang on, you guys. Just had this working. Now I just messed it up. Redirect to. Oh, on thank you, line 9. Duh, oh, yeah, looking at the wrong thing. Products. Get product. Oh, didn't send over a query string. Huh. Okay. I see. So just so you know what I was just looking at, it tells you right here. It says invalid argument supplied in this for each, and it says on thank you line 9, which is the one that we went to. And if you look up here, actually, there is a question mark and then no query string behind it, which is because why? Because order 51, order ID 51. Oh, I know why. Uh, yeah, I can't do that. I had to go through the whole process. Oh, heck, because I had to feed this a query string. Yeah, I can. Here's what I'll do. I'll just feed it like this. I'll just make the whole thing like this. I'll just give it a query string. Sorry, because I have a point. That is why I'm going to the trouble to do this. See if this works. No. Alright, I may have to just go back and do it the way I had it. Sorry. Because the point was, I was really trying to show you guys this way with this order. I'm going to add a couple things to this order so I can show you. Okay. So, or do it this way. Yeah, this is the same effect. This is, if I just put this in there like this, that was going to be the string that it sent over anyway. Perfect. Okay, there. That's what I was trying to get to anyway. So what you can see is, sort of, right, is you see up here, I wish I could make this part bigger, but there is now a string. Now, I kind of forced it in there because I got us goobered up because I stopped the process. But where this actually came from was on a different order where I had two products, which is what I was trying to go back to. Product number 7 and product number 4. Okay? And so I sent us to this thank you page, nothing, no beauty to behold, but the point being that I said thank you for your order, and you would have gotten thank you for your order no matter what. If I took off product number 4 and resubmitted this page, look, it says thank you for your order. We know you will be thrilled with your purchase. Also, here is the warranty information on your product number 7. But if I stick product number 4 back in there, okay, and hit enter, now it says, thank you for your order. Since you bought product X, we thought you might like product Y, right? Upsell. And also, here's your warranty information on your product 7. Or, right, if I took out product 7, so I'm about to mess this up, product 7, and hit enter again. So now there's only product 4. Well, that isn't formatted quite right, but you still get the idea. Thank you for your order. Since you brought product X, we thought you might like product Y. Also, let us tell you about our company, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So this is a single page that is just being, changed up based on the parameters that you are sending over from the order. And based on that, you can get as spiffy as you want to. Okay? So this is an example of, instead of making, 8 different pages and sending to 8 different pages, which you then have to keep maintained and remember to update and blah blah blah. You just make one page a lot of the time and then modify it like this. Now, I'm going to show you a different example of this. Some of you saw it in an email I sent you on Tuesday, but most of you, looking at the list of people in the room, did not. So this should be new for most of you. And it's pretty cool if I do say so myself. But before I do that and show you kind of a real implementation of this, a real live implementation of this idea, I want to see what questions that you have at this point. I know this is a little kind of higher level than what I've been doing with you guys for a while now, but again, I really just want you to really start thinking about, the idea is I don't start down here in the weeds like, oh, let's start with a query string and see what we can build with that, right? What you do is you say, man, sure would be nice if I could do, hmm, Infusionsoft won't do that. Okay. As soon as you say to yourself, I wish I could, but Infusionsoft can't. That's when you know that it's probably time for a script. And the point that I'm always trying to make to you guys is, even though I kind of fumble over them when it's hard to talk and think in code at the same time, but truthfully, these are really pretty darn simple, right? And when people say, well, I just don't know whether I can do that. The answer is you can do anything, pretty much, almost. Like it's pretty hard to think of things that you really just can't do. There are a few because Infusionsoft doesn't give you access to some field or some such thing. But where there's a will, there's a way. If you're desperate enough, you can almost always come up with a way to get it done. So that's what I'm trying to show you in these extending Infusionsoft sessions is just to get you thinking about all the different possibilities that are out there and things, ways you could do cool things with Infusionsoft that you can't do otherwise. All right, so questions. Okay. Peter says, how do I get custom out of you, someone, get custom fields into an order form? Um, Peter, are you asking how do you that you didn't know you could put custom fields in an order form, or are you saying how do I get the data? Oh, okay. Well, let me show you. It's actually the exact same way that you put them on a contact record. If I go to settings, and then this is where I set up custom fields, right? And everybody well, most people know that, oh, contact, and we just hit go. But if you actually flip this little thing, you have 100 custom fields available to you for referral partner, company, contact, task appointment note, order, subscription, and opportunity. So for your orders, if there's some information that you collect with every order, you can put it on the and it's not necessarily something that you are have to look at every day in the contact record. You can still get to it, um but well, let me just show you quickly. So let's just say that we have a field here. We're going to create a, well, here's some PayPal transaction ID or renewal year, okay, that I've already created. So if I go view the database names for this, these custom fields are called renewal year. We'll do this, okay? So now let's go to my order form, which is, I'll just probably go this way, it's easier. So I added it there, and I go to e-commerce settings, and I go to my order form, for example, and I say we'll use this order form that we just did, and so and I say um, mm, 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 mm. So this is products. I gotta remember, how do I put this sucker on there? It's been a long time since I did this. Hang on. Uh, 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 how do I do this? Order form might be in the theme because I actually have them. Nope, Anybody remember how you do this? I have them actually on the one that we were just looking at, and I don't even remember how I put it there. Links. So maybe this is actually what you were asking. Oh, come on. Go here. Hang on. Settings. Um. Mm, 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 mm. E-commerce setup. Cart order form theme. Edit the theme. This isn't edit, is it? Order form theme edit. HTML areas tab. Did you find it? There we go. No. Labels, images. I didn't. Oh, heck. Come on, you guys. Some of you must know how to add uh, custom field to an order form. Right? I should know, but I don't. All else fails. RFM. Oops. And Fuse. If I could spell, this would be so much easier. Fusionsoft add custom field to order form. Oh, HTML tab of the form, not the template, Sarit says. Really? HTML order form. I thought I looked there. Didn't I go there? HTML areas, custom header, product area, custom footer. I don't see. Where do we add? I mean, that's the JavaScript for the date, but here, let's just look. Hang on. It's kind of off topic, but still good. Here, perfect. Custom fields can be put on forms. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Thank you, Michael Fairchild. Put it in the custom HTML area. There we go. So here's the code. Put it somewhere where you can see it. Input type equals text, name, order 0, and then custom field name. ID is the same. So for us, what did we say that was called? On our custom field name was what? You guys remember? Don't tell me I lost it. I copied it. Oh, heck. That's not it. Hang on. Go, orders, go. So we go to orders. We find this renewal year, view the database name. Database name is renewal year. There we go. And so that's what we want. We want to say to this. So it's order 0 because that's right, because that's the right deal. And we're going to put here with the you got to make sure that you got the dash in front of it. Always custom fields always preceded by a hyphen. So we take this and we go to the order form and we go to, just like you were saying, product information, and I'm going to put it down here like that. Hit save, hit preview, let's see what happens. Oh, that's it, but it needs to be styled. This is the field. If I do inspect element, yeah, see, order 0, renewal year. So that's it. That's how you do it. You got to add the label too. I just put the input. I didn't put the label. Had I added the label, we'd have that. And in fact, now that I know that, if I go to my other order form really quick, um, and show you this, go back here. Come on, back to order form list. That actually might have been it. It's this one. Oh yeah, here. It was right here. Okay, look, you guys. So just so you have this. If you look, oops, too far. All right, well that's okay. Here, this is the one that I was messing with a long time ago for a client. We'll put it on the hello page like this. See this? This is information necessary to personalize your package. And then here's some divs and a table, your personal membership information, birth date, and then look over here. Okay, contact 0 birthday. Now in this case, that's not a custom field, that's a stock field. Okay, but it's contact 0, which is all these naming conventions are one of the hardest stupid parts of this whole thing. But contact 0 birthday, right? And then if I had a custom field there, and here's the label as well, input class ID name, placeholder, blah, 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 right? Checkout label. So if you look at this in the preview, this is actually the form. This is the form that we were actually looking at. If I hit preview, that's this stuff here. See this? Birthday, create password. This goes in the password field. This goes in the birthday field. Now they're not custom, but it's the same idea. Okay, and then that I didn't get working, but anyway, same idea. I mean, it works, it's just in the wrong place, because it's a sandbox account. Okay, so there's your deal. Now just again, this is totally off topic, but because we asked and we're doing it, so now if I went to Drita, who did place one of these orders, and I want to look at that, find Drita dog, and I look at her orders, recent orders. So now if I look at, I believe it will be on this one. Okay, so yeah. So here is her, let's see if it's in custom fields. It should be because, well, yeah. Here's her PayPal transaction ID and renewal year. So here's how you look at it on the order. However, it is interesting that when you add a stock field, they don't put it here, but I suppose that's because I can always just it's since it's on the contact, I can just flip through and go to password and birthday. There's birthday and there's password, and that is what I entered. So that's probably why they don't stick it on that tab. All right. Whew, oh, okay. So, but again, same idea, right? Based on whatever they put. So, in the same way that I am basing some of this right now off of the product that was ordered, I can do the exact same thing with what is in any of these fields as well, because all of these are available to me, the custom as well as non-custom. And so let's just imagine that I wanted to say, oh, I'm sorry, you're under 18, you can't purchase this product, or, whatever. I mean, anything that, oh, you live in South Carolina too, awesome, we should get together for dinner, whatever. All of these things are available for you to, to create whatever, whether it be, to apply a tag, uh, as it's, so I mean, it's just as easy right there in those scripts to apply a tag as it is to write something to a thank you page. Anything that you want to do right there as you're doing those redirects and or calling those scripts can be done in those scripts. Anything you could think of. So, before I go to my example, does anyone else have any questions about this, about either usage or kind of how we would do something like this? Okay. All right. Well, let me just show you the one that I did the other day. I really, in fact, I may set it up so that you guys can try it. Let's see if we can do that. I also may end up taking more time than I really want to, but so the way I sent this is not here. This is actually in my not in my sandbox, in my real account. Um, can I go back to the DS query array and explain 10.0 and what it does? Yeah, you can actually get that out of the API documentation. It has to do so query. If I go to, for those of you who don't know, so he's asking about that's a little big. He's asking about in one of these scripts that I had where I queried the order record, which I mean the order table, which was here, right here. It's this. Um, so, and this is an API call. Okay, this is a standard API call, and these three lines basically kind of this is really it. This anywhere you see this app and then an arrow, that's where you're actually making the call. This is the parameters that you're feeding into the call. So and this is called a DS query, data service query. So, which is just what it sounds like. It's a when you're querying the database. When you want to get information out of Infusionsoft, you've got two ways to do it primarily, and then they give you a couple of specialized variations on those two ways. But the two ways are either query or load. You do query when you don't know the item that you want. So query is just like, show me everybody who has bought, product X. Show me everybody who lives in South Carolina. Show me everybody who bought in the last 20 days. Show me everybody whose name starts with A. Whatever. Like it might be one person, it might be nobody, it may be 20,000 people. You don't know what you're going to get back in the record set. That's when you use query. When you use load is when you know exactly who you want and you just want to pull the information for that one thing. And I almost said person, but it's not. It's an ID. So it could be one order, one contact, one company, one opportunity, one something that you're identifying by an ID and saying, go get the whatever birthday, password, renewal date for contact ID 246. That's a load. Okay. So though I know I'm getting there, but you're ahead of everybody else. Okay. So, so those are your two different ways. And then they have specialized ones that they've written that are kind of variations like, query by email and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Um, load con is automated. You don't have to put you don't have to put the table name in because it's already done for contact, things like that. So this one, DS query, has this 10.0 as parameters. So what this is saying is limit it to 10 results. Don't give me more than 10, and start on the first page. So if I go here to data service, if you don't know, this is the developer. If you go to help.infusionsoft.com and then under developer, you'll find all this data service query. If you click on that, it'll explain. Here's data performs a query across the given table based on the query data. And you go down here to the little example that it gives you right here, right? Same thing, actually, looks almost identical. So here it says, here's your parameters. Your API key, the table you want to look in, here, limit. This is the first one. This is 10. What I have is set as 10. You can pull as many as 1,000, no more. Which means that if you need more than 1,000, you've got to actually loop through the database, which is kind of a pain. So you can pull up to 1,000 at a time, and then what page of data to pull. In case there's more than 1,000 records, it's 1,000 records to a page, then you've got to go to page 1 or page 2 or whatever. And then what's the query and what fields do you want back? So the anytime you see an API call and you don't understand it, just go here to the documentation, pull that call up, and just kind of read it, and then that's how I figured it out. It's like I looked at this and I went, okay, this must be the table. I got that, and this is the query, and this is the return field. So 10 and 0 must be limit and page. Okay, what's that? And then, all right, well, let me try it and see what happens when I put in, different numbers or whatever. And that's kind of how you learn it. But that's what that is. Limit to 10, because I know I'm not going to have more than 10. And sometimes you may say one because you say, show me, I want to see the order that was just placed. I want to see the most recent one. I know there are 10 in there for Drita, but I don't care about those. I care about the one that she just placed this second. So if I just say one, then I'm going to get the one and I don't have to mess around with all that extraneous data, things like that. Okay, now, so let me go back to where I was. Let's see, what was I doing here? I'm going to go to uh, my app. And I set this email up as a template. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Campaign Builder and I'm going to put it in a campaign so that I know, no. You guys keep asking questions. Do not. That's what this is for. It's not for me. It's for you. So if people don't like the direction it's going, then they'll ask other questions. So this is demo. This is redirect demo. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a form. And as I recall, the only things that I believe I passed to this email, oh, well, it's an email. So it only really needs your first name and email address, really. And I'm going to say that the thank you page can go anywhere. We really don't care about the thank you page. And I'm going to say, I don't care about that either. Okay, all we really need, I think, is just like a hosted form. Okay, and let's see here. When you fill, because you guys are going to fill this out. This is the reason I'm doing this, so that you can actually see what happens. When you do that, I'm going to send you an email. And that's all I'm going to do. So we'll just throw this out there. Oops, stick that in there like this. Double click on this. Drag an email out really fast. This is the email that kicks this whole thing off. And say use template. It should already be out there. Here, come on. I have the hardest time. And let's see. This was called something like follow up. This. I'm only 6 people. Okay. So this is the email that I sent. And if you look at this email, one of the things I did, which is a little bit unusual, is, and this is why I'm making you fill out a form to get this. So if you want to try it out as we're talking. So the email says, I'm only 6 people. I did this as a broadcast, but I did it to people who had been, I have, I don't know, 230 people signed up for these webinars. And there's a kind of a group of 30 or so of you who show up at most of them, if not all of them. And the rest of them aren't showing up. And so I just kind of wanted to try to re-engage those people and honestly say, since the webinars aren't really working for you, how can I help you get this information that I really think you need? So I wrote this email and then did something slightly different. I put a survey and I put it right here in line on the email. These are links, and these are actually automation links that I set up. And when you click on any of these, they actually don't do anything but take you to a Gravity Forms survey on my website that kind of matches this. And I'll show you this in a second. You can try it yourself. But I decided to try it because I thought, well, this is kind of a cool way. Because number one, but the other thing it does is it allows me to pass your information over. That's why I made an automation link. So I know who you are. I sent you an email, right? So by having you click on this, which if I just said click on a link, you'd be like, blah, right? But by thinking that you're kind of taking a survey right here and you click on the link, what I did is I passed your information over to the form, to the survey, and got you moving towards the survey. So I'm going to set this up so that you guys, if you want, can fill out this form and you can get it for yourself and you'll see what I mean. So back to this, publish, and then so if you want it, I'm going to put the link in chat. Now I will tell you guys that this is a live form, and one of the things on here is to opt out of these webinars. So if you hit that, you won't be in the webinars anymore. So don't do that unless you really mean to. Um, so because this wasn't meant for you, since you're here. All right. So if you hit that and you fill that form out, you're gonna get that email. Okay. Now, if we look at that email, which let me see if I can find old copy. Oh goodness, email, email jail. Only 6 people. Okay, so so here's the email. This is one that I sent to myself. Okay. Now, I should probably have my website open. Well, let me go ahead and hit this and then I'll show you the website. Okay, so it knows who I am, right? It sent it to me. So now when I click, I'm going to say, yeah, I'm a consultant. Okay, so I click that and oh, wow. Okay, well, where it's going is those automation links, which I can show you, are redirecting me to my website. This is a Gravity form. Okay, now, why do that? Now, look at this, you guys. We were just working with query strings, right? Look at the query string that is up here. So the query string, if I put it where you can see it again, hello or something, untitled. Here's the query string that automation link just sent. It sent everything I needed, actually. It sent your ID. It sent your first name, so I could say, hello, Kim. Last name, fine. And it sent your email address. So I now know that. And it's been passed along to my website, to this Gravity form on my website. Now, so I'll show you this, and those of you who were in the Gravity forums deal on 2 weeks ago, you'll have seen this before. But so if I say consultant, this is what it looked like in your email, right? But now because I'm on a Gravity form, I can do things like when I say consultant, or actually let me say user. Oh, look, a couple things just slid down, right? If I'm a consultant, they go away. The next question is which describes you. But when I say Infusionsoft user, see, I'm not interested in you guys that are consultants. No, I'm not. I'm kidding, right? But I figure you're a power user, kind of. So I want to know for the people who are an Infusionsoft user, how are you using Infusionsoft, right? I just, I use it to automate multiple areas of my business or just super basic email and contact management. Okay, great. So then which describes you? I don't really understand what I can do with the I, and by the way, check all that apply, right? Boom, boom. Now that was there whether I said I was a user or a consultant. Either way, right? Deep down, I think the API is going to be over my head, and as much as I want to, I don't have the time to mess with it. Okay, so I can click any or all of those. Then it says, did you sign up for my webinars because you had a specific project in mind? If you say no, okay, nothing happens. But if you say yes, then it slides out and says, at this point, would it be more beneficial to your business if I just quoted you a price on that project and then we worked on teaching you the API later? Because I've been doing this for 2.5 months and you haven't made it to a webinar yet. So if you were going to go to the webinars, sorry, the dogs are those of you who are always here know that this is like the time they attack. It's like, come on, mom, we want to play. So maybe at this point we should just quote you a price and get you moving on that, right? Sorry, you guys. And so if I say yes to this, then another one slides out, and it says, "Hey, Rose, that's enough." It says, do you want me to send you an email with my available appointment time so we can schedule a call to discuss? If you say yes to all of that, guess what you're going to get out of the campaign? You're going to get automated time trade email link so that we can schedule the appointment, right? Of course, it makes sense. Should we continue to sign you up for the webinars or opt you out? You haven't been in 2.5 or 3 months. So like, really, if you don't want me to keep sending you all this stuff, just, I'll opt you out. So don't hit that, you guys, unless you really, but if you say stay in, then you'll stay in. And then it says we're about to launch an exciting new API service that might solve this whole problem, which we are, and it's not the cookbook, by the way. Hey, I'm sorry. Hang on. Rose, okay? Really, you guys. Outside. Outside. Can you guys hear that? How could you not hear that? I mean, I know I have noise. Sorry, I'm being attacked. It's a dog, NATO. I know I have noise canceling headphones, but that's pretty ridiculous. Okay, so do you want to know about that or not? And if you, sorry, Peter, and if guys, I gotta turn on my webcam, you guys would so laugh. If then if you do, this is gonna apply a tag that says when I launch this in a week or two to make sure I send you the launch email, right? Now, and then a text bracket. Okay, fine. Now here's the part that I wanted to show you, because this is the part that this was all stuff we did last week. But here's the stuff that's new to this week. When I say send us your answers, now the thank you page for the Gravity form is what? It's a script. It's a page. The page is called trainandsimple.com. Got it. And look what's happening up here on the page. There's another query string. And that query string is passing, because I told it to, certain key information, which I then use to do this. Got it, Kim? Remember, I haven't asked you your name. I know it because I passed it, because I emailed you. So your name and your contact ID has come all the way with you from that first email that I sent you. Okay? Got it, Kim. Just to recap the actions I'm going to take based on what you told me, I will send you an appointment link so we can discuss your project. You should receive that within the next 24 hours. You are an eternal optimist. I like that. I'm leaving you in the webinar series until I hear from you. Otherwise, you will be among the first to know about our new service when we announce it. Seriously, this is going to make life so much easier. And then lastly, I will review the rest of your responses. And if there's anything I can add or offer there, I will get back to you, okay? Now, all of these are different depending on what you choose. So if I go back to the form and I change some of these, like for example, I'm going to say, nope, I actually don't want an appointment. And who is this? This is me. So I could opt me out. I'll opt me out and I'll say no. Okay. And then I'll say, send us your answers. So now when it goes to the got it page, same page, identical page, it says, okay, so you're not interested in an appointment right now. No action on my part at this time. I'll stop registering you for the webinar series, but don't forget you can always re-register. That probably should have been a link. You said you didn't want to be notified when our new service is available, but I'm just going to tell you straight out that you made a mistake on that one. Email me if you want to change your mind, and then lastly, I'll review your responses, blah, blah, blah. See? So this part is customized based on how you answered the questions on the Gravity form, which is identical really to what I was showing you that you could do on the thank you page. This is the thank you page based on a product that you bought. The difference here is this is based on survey responses, and the one I was showing you was based more on products and purchases, but it's the exact same idea. And then of course all of this stuff has a campaign on the back end that does what it needs to do, right? So it does actually put a tag on you that opts you out. It sends you an email with an appointment link so that we can have an appointment, talk about your project or whatever. Okay. There's an opt-in tag for the thing that's coming. All right. So that now I actually I had this idea at the very last minute. I actually did not spend a terrific amount of time on this. I could now, having done it once, make it a lot cooler. But I actually sat down to I was just going to write an email on Tuesday just to say, man, we got another webinar coming up. I need to get people, off the schneid a little bit. And I started to write the email, and then I thought, well, hang on a minute. I have a webinar about custom thank you pages. So why don't I just kill two birds with one stone? And I'll write the you know, do the custom thank you page for the email that I have to send anyway, and then I'll have it done. So that's what that is. Now, if you want a quick, I'm not going to go through the code. Anyone who wants it, I'm happy to give it to them. But if you look at the code, this is the code. This is um, so again, what this does, it's really two pages. So you end up on a page called Got It. Um, but what ends up happening is I actually, um, oh wait, is this the right one? This isn't the right one. Hang on. Got it. It might not. It might actually be just one. Oh, I know what I did. Ah, no, here. It's here. Um, it's this is a WordPress site, and I actually just embedded this code. Yeah, I will. I'll put it on GitHub. And I'll show it to you. Here, I'll get it. Um, did I save it anywhere else but the site, so I don't have to go dig it out? It is this code. Yeah, it's this code. It's actually embedded in the page, but it's this. It's the top part of this is what it is. This is the code for this page, right? You can see it. All right. So again, what I always do is, I try these things first and then I grab the query strings and stuff so that I have them to refer to. It's a heck of a lot easier to write these when you're actually looking and you can copy and paste all of the little nuances. So these are just examples of what came over in the query string, right? And because I set them up that way. So then I just do a bunch of gets where I'm just grabbing all of these various things out of the query string. That's what those, Ramona, that'll look really familiar to you. We did it a bunch of times in PHP class, right? So form ID, here's form ID. Entry ID, get entry ID. Entry ID is right here. Entry ID equals 60. Get contact ID. Contact ID came from when I sent you the email, right? It's there. First name, what's appointment, notify, blah, 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 right? Then I connect to Infusionsoft. I assign some tags that go to everybody regardless of what you answered. And then I start on my HTML for the page. Got it. And then right here, I'm putting a little PHP echo. First name. Got it, Kim. Right? Because remember, first name's assigned to a variable, right? Just to recap, the action I'm going to take based on what you told me. And then, so look, because again, this is the key thing that, like, at first I just really did not get. Like, PHP is rendered in HTML. The output of PHP is HTML. So you can, as I have done here, mix and match PHP in and among your HTML. So here you see all this HTML, but wherever I need the PHP bit, right, which is from here to here, I just threw in right here an if statement. If once appointment equals yes, echo, I will send you an appointment link so we can discuss your project. And then here's an API call. Assign a tag, assign once appointment tag, which then kicks off something in the campaign, right? Tag 1449. Else, echo, you aren't interested in an appointment right now. No action on my part at this time. Then the next one, if stay in is equal to opt out, say I will stop registering you for the webinar, blah, 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 and assign a tag 1233 to opt you out of the webinar. Otherwise, you are an eternal optimist. I like that. I'm leaving you in. Then here's the next one. If you wanted to be notified, I said here, and I applied a tag. And if you didn't, I said you made a mistake. And then the rest of this is actually just straight HTML with the same not connected, because this all starts with a connection to the Infusionsoft up here, so that we always have. So I will absolutely put it on GitHub for you guys. I just ran out of time. I was literally like trying to finish that other stuff 2 minutes before the thing started. So I will definitely add this. But anyway, that so that's a real life use case of query strings, and multi step query strings, and using information both on your that's being input, as well as um, in the database, to customize and or redirect. So what questions do you have on that? Because that's it. That's I'm done. That's bunch. I hope a bunch of you guys sign up. Maybe. See how many people fill out my form. Oh, I've killed my inbox somehow. Oh well, I broke it. Never mind. What questions do you guys have? Did I overwhelm you? You guys normally have tons of questions. By the way, it's nice to see you guys. Oh, I lost a couple people. A couple people left. Um, those of you who are always here, missed you guys. It's been like 2 weeks. We spent so much time together for those 3 weeks that. All right, very good. Um, okay. I need to probably good. Well, Peter, I'm glad you said that because you may have given me the perfect segue. So, here's what I think I'm going to do. A lot to. Okay. Yeah. It's recording. So I will, definitely and like all things, I think Richard, if you just go work it, like sign up for it, look at the strings, look at the code, try just, you know, John, it is, yes. Follow through just the high level of like, okay, what's the flow first, and then okay, now how did we get information from one point to the next, and then just kind of work your way down from 20,000 foot level to the treetop level. I think it's going to be a lot easier to absorb. But the biggest point is, if you never write a stitch of code, you guys, or you don't care to write a stitch of code, is understand the concept, understand what you can do, and how can you use this in your business, or how can you use this in a client's business. When a client is sitting there saying, I need to do X, right? If you're a consultant, you need to be able to say, yeah, we can do that. I know exactly how we can do that, and have the confidence to be able to say, you know not, ooh, I don't know. Infusionsoft doesn't do that out of the box. Like, yep, I absolutely know how. I know we can do that, and here's how we're gonna do it. I couldn't write it, you don't know, but I know how to do it, and I know people who can get it done for you, and that's gonna make you money. Whether you're a business owner trying to figure new ways to wring cost and time out of your business processes, or increase your conversion rates, whatever it is, make your people more effective, or whether you're a consultant who's really trying to bring value to your clients and not just do the same old stuff that everybody else is doing. Anybody can write a stinking campaign. There's a couple hundred of us doing that, but this is the kind of stuff that sets you apart and allows you to, frankly, excuse those of you who are not consultants, but it's why you pay us more money, because we have more knowledge and we've spent a lot more time learning stuff like this, right? So, anyway, all right. So, yes, Gravity Form seminar was recorded. It is actually right here in free. I think it's up, free resources. Yep, right here, right on top, on the Train and Simple website. And so, with regard to practice, this is not the big announcement I was referring to. That is still, I don't know. I've been like just killing myself for a couple months getting ready to make the announcement that I'm this new project that we're about to launch. But in the meantime, You probably have figured out that for me, but the only way I really am going to get something done is by overcommitting myself. So I committed to that PHP course, about killed me. But hey, we've got a PHP course on the books. I learned a ton. I learned how to teach it. I think I got a lot better from day one to day 8. I learned a ton in doing it, and I made a bunch of new friends. So I'm going to do the same thing with the cookbook, you guys. So, because otherwise we're just not going to get this thing done. So what I've decided is on the off weeks. Now this is going to be different. Okay. So this is really high level. Every other Thursday, we have this. In the other Thursdays, in the off weeks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the first recipe. And whoever wants to show up can show up. And I'm going to sit down and we're going to code it together. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write the code and I'm going to explain it, and you guys can follow along and write your own code with it. And then that way, when I'm done, I've got everything, the video. Maybe some of you would be kind enough to help me write them up. That would be great. But if not, at least I'll have it. I'll have the videos kind of done, and I can, instead of having these things posted like this, then my goal will actually be to have a recipe done every 2 weeks by doing that. And what I will tell you, Ramona. What I well, so a perfect segue. Thank you, Ramona. So Ramona just said in capital letters, "Don't you ever take that BHP course down. I'm gonna do a Netflix and watch them all over again." Um, so guys, I was just about to say, and I will tell everybody straight up, I am not gonna post probably the archives publicly for the cookbook, because that's a product that we plan to sell. And so if you show up and you help, it's I'm more, I'll share all day long. But I'm not going to put those up on the web. Well, I will probably give people like you guys who attend a login, and everybody else, if you missed it, you'll have to wait for the cookbook to come out. So just be aware. And I've got some people saying, but oh, what if I'm sick that day? Or look, I know who my regulars are, you guys. I'll take care of you. But someone that's never come to can't suddenly say, oh, could I have that recipe for doesn't work that way. So if you want the recipe for the day, you either need to show up or make arrangements with me beforehand. Okay. So that's coming next. I will announce it. I will put the schedule up, but I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm gonna start at the most basic one, recipe one, and then we're just gonna go until we finish or keep adding or whatever. So that's the plan for that. Phew. All right. Anything else? What can I help you guys with? Anything? Anything? You guys can help me. Some of you have already done it. You've been so kind, and I really appreciate it very much. I know Richard and Peter, and I think maybe Ramona. I forget who all. Richard, I know, have written me something very nice in the marketplace. If you find these courses useful and helpful, I don't charge for them, but it sure would help me out a tremendous amount if you would write me a review on the marketplace so that people actually know that I do know what I'm talking about, and I'm slightly personable, I hope. And oh, there it is right here. If you guys wouldn't mind, I would love that. Richard, Richard's asking, do I have a affiliate code for Gravity Forms? I don't even know. I don't. I don't even know if they have them. I've never looked. Um, I do not. It's a brilliant product. I will tell you. I can't even tell you how many hours over the last couple nights struggling with it, but only because I'm trying to do some really crazy things with it for a couple clients and write a bunch of custom stuff based on it. And but I don't. It's exactly like the API. It took me so long to finally just say I've got to do this. I've got to learn this. And I did the same thing. I resisted Gravity Forms forever, and now once I've done it, I think, oh, what a goof I was. Like I use it for everything. What was I thinking? I mean, anyway. So I encourage you. If you work with WordPress, or you have a WordPress site, I can't think of a better investment you can make as a premium plugin. That would probably be my first investment in terms of plugins that I paid for. What else? Anything else I can help you with? No? Okay. This is me, you guys. Please write me a review. I would really love you if you would do that. I got to change this actually. We're about to become something slightly different, and which is all the more reasons why I'm about to have this big launch. So, which is why these reviews would be so helpful. All right. Well, if you guys don't have any more things, we finished in record time today, under an hour and a half. Hopefully, you got something from it. And if I can ever help you guys in any way, shape, or form, I'm always I'm always hanging out in the on Facebook in the Infusionsoft API Learners group, as many of us are. In the ICC group and also in the ICC Chica group. So, you know, or of course, you are free to my contact information if I can get a hide all somewhere is there. So feel free. All right, you guys, it's been nice hanging with you. Have a good weekend and we'll talk soon.